The end of the year is coming all too quickly, but it's the start of a new chapter, isn't it? The chance to press reset, to rethink, and to recalibrate the direction of your life. I've always said that life responds to your philosophy, not your emotions or your feelings, but the set of ideas you've decided to adopt and live by. Think about it. How often do we drift through days, weeks, and even years, carrying the same habits, the same thoughts, and the same excuses that have kept us stuck? What if this year you decided to rewrite that script? You see, every successful transformation starts with a decision to think differently, to act intentionally, and to live boldly. Success, after all, is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the beauty of this life is that we get to become the author of our own story. We get to decide if this is the year we grow stronger, more focused, and more determined to reach for what's possible. But here's the key. Wishing for change doesn't bring change. It takes a set of principles, a guide to lead you, and consistent action to anchor you in the process. That's where these 10 rules come in. They're not abstract ideas or vague aspirations. They're tools. Tools that you can use starting today to transform not just this year, but your entire life. Are you ready to embrace the challenge? Not just to hear the rules, but to apply them? Because nothing works until you work it. Rule number 1, take full responsibility for your life. This is where it all begins. Responsibility is the foundation of a life well lived. It's the starting point for every breakthrough and every transformation. Tell me, who's in charge of your life? Who's making the decisions? Now, it's tempting to point fingers, isn't it? The economy, the government, your upbringing, your circumstances. It's easy to blame something or someone else. But here's the truth. Until you take full responsibility, nothing will change. Responsibility means recognizing that you, and only you, have the power to change your direction. It means owning your mistakes, your failures, and even the things that weren't entirely your fault. Why? Because when you take responsibility, you take control. Think about it. If someone or something else is responsible for your situation, then they have the power, not you. But when you say, it's up to me, you regain the reins of your life. Years ago, I met a man who was struggling financially. He told me about all the reasons he couldn't get ahead. His boss didn't like him. His industry was tough, and he wasn't born into wealth. He had every excuse lined up. But I asked him a simple question. What are you doing about it? He looked at me, puzzled. What do you mean? I said, what steps are you taking to improve your skills, to add value, to create opportunities for yourself? That conversation changed his life. He realized that waiting for someone else to fix his situation wasn't the answer. When you take responsibility, you shift from being a victim to being a creator. Instead of waiting for things to happen, you start making things happen. And here's the magic. Responsibility is empowering. When you embrace it, you stop wasting energy on blame and start investing it in solutions. Responsibility isn't always comfortable. It requires honesty, a hard look in the mirror. It means admitting where you've fallen short, where you've let yourself down. And that's not easy, is it? But it's necessary. Because when you take ownership of your life, you also take ownership of your potential. you start asking, what's possible for me? What can I achieve if I put my heart, mind, and effort into it? So, here's the challenge. Starting today, refuse to make excuses. Refuse to blame circumstances, other people, or even bad luck. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do? What's within my control? How can I take the next step forward? Because that's how change begins. Not with what others do, but with what you do. Remember this, you can't control everything, but you can always control how you respond. And your response determines the outcome. Take full responsibility, and you'll be amazed at how much power you truly have. Rule number 2, set clear goals and write them down. If responsibility is the foundation, then goals are the map. A map gives you direction, helps you navigate challenges, and ensures you don't wander aimlessly through life. Without clear goals, you're like a ship without a sail, drifting, hoping, wishing. But life doesn't respond to hope. It responds to clarity and action. Ask yourself, what do you want? Not what you think you can get, not what someone else wants for you, but what do you want? The clearer you are about your desires, the stronger your focus becomes. Clarity leads to power because you can't hit a target you can't see. Years ago, I learned a simple yet profound truth. Writing your goals down is like planting a seed in the soil of your mind. When you write a goal, it transforms from a fleeting thought into a tangible commitment. It's no longer just an idea. It's a declaration. And here's what happens next. Your mind starts working on it. You begin to see opportunities, solutions, and resources that align with your goal. I met a young man at a seminar. He was full of ambition, but lacked direction. I asked him if he had written down his goals. He said, no, I just keep them in my head. I challenged him to take a piece of paper and write down 5 goals he wanted to achieve in the next year. He hesitated at first, but then he did it. A year later, he came back to me with tears in his eyes. He had achieved 4 out of the 5 goals. Why? Because the act of writing them down forced him to focus and take action. But here's the key. Goals alone won't change your life. You need a plan. Break your goals down into smaller steps. What can you do today, this week, this month, to move closer to your target? Consistency beats intensity every time. Small, steady progress adds up to big results over time. Review your goals regularly. Don't write them down once and forget about them. Keep them in front of you. Read them daily, visualize them, and remind yourself why they matter. This keeps your motivation alive and your efforts aligned. And don't be afraid to dream big. Set goals that excite you, challenge you, and even scare you a little. Because the purpose of a goal isn't just to achieve it. It's to become the person who's capable of achieving it. When you set a goal, you're saying, this is who I want to be. This is the life I want to live. So take some time today to write down your goals. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Remember, clarity creates momentum. And momentum is what transforms a vision into reality. Rule number 3, develop discipline as your greatest ally. If goals are the map, then discipline is the engine that drives you forward. Without discipline, even the best plans and the clearest intentions fall apart. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the ability to stick with the process, even when the excitement fades, when obstacles arise, or when progress feels slow. Now, some people think discipline is about restriction or deprivation, but that's not true. Discipline is about freedom, the freedom to live the life you truly want, rather than being enslaved by bad habits or fleeting emotions. It's about saying, I choose long-term rewards over short-term comfort. How often have you let your feelings dictate your actions? I don't feel like working out today. I don't feel like working on that project. Feelings are unreliable, aren't they? They come and go. But discipline says, I act according to my commitments, not my feelings. I remember hearing a story about a young athlete who wanted to be an Olympic champion. Every day he woke up at 5 a.m. to train, rain or shine. When asked how he stayed motivated, he said, motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. You see, discipline is the habit of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Here's a simple truth. Discipline is built, not born. No one is naturally disciplined. It's a skill you develop through practice, one small decision at a time. And the best way to build discipline is to start with small, manageable habits. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything overnight. Focus on one area where you want to improve. Whatever it is, commit to it consistently. And here's the secret. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you strengthen your discipline muscle. You build trust with yourself, and that trust fuels your confidence. On the flip side, every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken that muscle. So make sure your commitments are realistic. It's better to start small and succeed than to aim too high and give up. Discipline also requires a strong why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the deeper reason behind your goals? When you connect your actions to a purpose that matters to you, it's easier to stay disciplined. Now we have to talk about setbacks. Discipline doesn't mean you'll never slip up. It means you don't let a setback turn into a pattern. Forgive yourself, learn from it, and get back on track. The goal is progress, not perfection. Remember, discipline isn't a punishment. It's a gift you give yourself. It's the pathway to achieving your dreams, to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. So, decide today to make discipline your ally. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how it transforms your life. Rule number 4, surround yourself with the right people. Success doesn't happen in isolation. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life. They can either lift you up, inspire you, and challenge you to be your best, or they can pull you down, drain your energy, and hold you back. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Because whether you realize it or not, you're becoming like them. Their attitudes, habits, and values rub off on you. If they're focused, driven, and positive, chances are you'll adopt those qualities too. But if they're negative, lazy, or complacent, well, that influence will creep into your life as well. Mr. Schoaf used to tell me, if you want to change your life, change your circle. At first, I didn't understand what he meant. But as I looked closer at the people around me, I realized something. I was spending time with people who were comfortable being average, who made excuses, and who weren't interested in growth. And guess what? That was holding me back. Now, this doesn't mean you should cut ties with everyone in your life. but it does mean being intentional about who gets your time and energy. Seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you to think bigger and do better. These are the individuals who will push you to grow, not settle. I once worked with a young entrepreneur who was struggling to take his business to the next level. After talking with him, I realized his friends were discouraging him, telling him his ideas were too risky. He was surrounded by small thinkers, and it was affecting his confidence. I encouraged him to find a new circle, mentors, peers, and other entrepreneurs who understood his vision and believed in his potential. Within a year, his business had grown exponentially. Why? Because he surrounded himself with people who lifted him up instead of pulling him down. Now let's talk about the kinds of people to look for. First, find mentors, people who are ahead of you, who have achieved the kind of success you aspire to. Learn from their experience and let their wisdom guide you. Second, find peers who share your ambitions. There's power in growing alongside others who are on the same journey. And third, seek out those who challenge your thinking. Don't just surround yourself with people who agree with you. Find those who push you to see things from new perspectives. But we can't forget the flip side. Sometimes you need to distance yourself from toxic influences. These are the people who constantly complain, criticize, or discourage you. I know this can be hard, especially if they're longtime friends or even family. But remember, your environment shapes your destiny. Protect your mindset by limiting your exposure to negativity. And one more thing, be the kind of person others want to be around. Bring value to your relationships. Encourage, uplift, and support those in your circle. Because relationships are a two-way street, aren't they? When you give your best, you attract the best. So, take a moment to evaluate your circle. Are the people in your life helping you grow, or are they holding you back? If they're holding you back, it's time to make some changes. Because success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you do it with. Rule number 5, master the art of consistency. Consistency might not sound glamorous, but it's the unsung hero of success. It's the small, repeated actions day after day that create extraordinary results. Think about it. A single workout won't make you fit, and one healthy meal won't transform your body. But what happens when you do it consistently over weeks, months, and years? That's where the magic is. Success, my friends, is less about intensity and more about consistency. Too often, people start with enthusiasm, but then their motivation wanes. They hit the gym for 2 weeks and stop. They work on their goals for a month and quit. Why? Because they expect instant results. But here's the truth. Great things take time. And consistency is what bridges the gap between effort and results. I remember a story about a man who wanted to chop down a massive oak tree. Each day he went out and gave it 5 swings with his axe. Just 5 swings. No more, no less. At first it seemed like nothing was happening. But day after day, those swings added up. Eventually, that great oak came crashing down. Why? Not because of one powerful swing, but because of consistent effort. The same principle applies to every area of your life. Want to build wealth? Save and invest consistently. Want to improve your health? Exercise and eat right consistently. Want to grow your skills? Practice and learn consistently. It's not about doing it perfectly every time. It's about showing up, even when it's inconvenient, even when you don't feel like it. How do you build consistency? First, start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one habit you want to develop and focus on that. Keep it simple and manageable. Second, create a routine. Habits thrive on structure. Decide when, where, and how you'll do the activity, and stick to it. Third, track your progress. There's something powerful about seeing your streak build up. It motivates you to keep going. Celebrate the small wins. They're what keep you moving forward. But here's the thing. There will be days when you don't feel like it, when life gets in the way, or when progress feels slow. That's when consistency matters most. Remember this, doing a little is better than doing nothing. Even if you can't do it perfectly, do it anyway. Consistency is about progress, not perfection. Here's the beauty of consistency. It compounds over time. Just like compound interest in a bank account, the small actions you take today will grow into something extraordinary tomorrow. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. So make a commitment to yourself. Whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams may be, decide to show up every day. No excuses, no exceptions. Because success isn't about doing something once. It's about doing it consistently. Rule number 6. Learn to manage your time wisely. Time is life's most precious resource. Unlike money, which you can lose and regain, or skills, which you can develop over time. Once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. The way you manage your time determines the life you lead. Think about it. Are you spending your time or investing it? Are you using it to build the future you want? Or are you letting it slip through your fingers? We all get the same 24 hours in a day, no more, no less. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't about having more time. It's about making better use of the time they have. Time management isn't just about being busy. It's about being productive. It's about focusing on what truly matters. Don't prioritize your schedule, schedule your priorities. In other words, figure out what's most important to you and make those things the foundation of your day. Too often, people fill their time with low-value tasks or saying yes to every request. Before they know it, their day is gone and their most important goals are untouched. Here's a lesson I learned early on. The key to time management is clarity. You have to know what matters most. What are the 2 to 3 things that